Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to present the products that I'm including in my Shop My Stash for December and go over the Shop My Stash products for November. It is officially winter, so I have some pretty glam products for the holidays, and I'm also bundled up in like my favorite sweatshirt. So if you want to talk about the products that I put in, we can go over that first. But I will have a timestamp in the description box down below about the products I'm taking for December, just in case you're not interested in the recap. But let's kick it off with November's products. So for the base products, the foundation that I included was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Luminous Foundation in the shade 130N with the Flower of Beauty In Your Prime Hydrating Primer. I've talked several times about this foundation was finicky at best. Sometimes it would look really good and then sometimes it would look really bad. But this combo was a match made in heaven. They worked so well together and I got more use out of this foundation than ever before. I included a new concealer to my collection, which was the Too Faced Born This Way in the shade Snow. But to be honest, I use this infrequently, so I can't give you a full review on it. It is full coverage and Snow is a little bit yellow compared to my undertones, which are really pink. So while I did like it and it covered up what I needed, it was really good for spot concealing. I'm not ready to give it a positive or negative review because I still need to test it out a bit more. I included two different bronzers. I had the No. 7 bronzer in the shade Golden Sands, which is just like a matte caramel color. And then I include the Makeup Revolution Vivid Baked Bronzer in the shade Ready to Go because I liked having the shimmery bronzer to pair with the matte one. When I said this is shimmery, this is straight up shimmery. I think I mentioned in the November video, like if you have darker skin tone, this can be a highlighter on you. But I liked to go in with the No. 7 one first and just put a little bit of this on top to get a nice like healthy sheen. And I got a lot of use out of this. This was my favorite bronzer at one point. I actually used up an entire one in my Project Pan series. So I was super excited to incorporate this. It's like the perfect color if you have light skin tone like mine. So I included a blush palette in this rotation. I had the Anastasia Beverly Hills blush palette in the shade Pool Party. And I got a lot of use out of this, especially the shade here, which is the shade Blank, which is really neutral. There's actually a slight dip in the shades, but a lot of times if I wasn't using Blank, which is the one I would use independently, I would just run my blush brush over all of them and pop them onto the cheeks. I don't think this is the longest wearing blush formula, but I like the fact that it has a lot of options. So you could pretty much go warm, neutral, or pink, which I guess is cool, but you had a lot of options to play around. You could do two blushes, you could do one blush, you could do all three. And the pink one does have glitter in it, so it gives you a bunch of different formulas. I also put in a little baby blush. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Blush and Glow. But to be honest, I use the highlighter more than the blush because the blush is a little bit pink and this is more of a summer color for me than it is a fall winter color. It's really pretty, but it's a little bit bright. But this highlighter, I kind of forgot how much I liked it. And honestly, I'm probably going to hit pan on this eventually. It looks really good on my skin tone and it looks almost natural. There's a swatch of the highlighter right there. There was a point where I was at work and I went to the bathroom and I was like washing my hands and I was like, what do I have on my cheeks? And I stood there and I was like, the Natasha Denona one. It looked so good and it looked literally like I was glowing. But when I wasn't using that Natasha Denona one, I included the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sugar Glow Kit. I think I called this the Sweets Glow Kit in like 4 different videos. So this palette has 4 different highlighters. You have Marshmallow, Gumdrop, Butterscotch, and Starburst. Starburst is the one that works best on me. It's just a icy pink color and it's one of my favorite pink colors in my collection. And then Butterscotch is a really pretty gold, and because I'm fair skinned, golds don't work on me except this one. I actually used it like 5 times this weekend. I love this palette. Marshmallow is definitely my least used, and Gumdrop is a little bit dark. Not sure if you can tell on camera, but it has a duochrome. It's like a bronze to pink duochrome. You can kind of see it there. So I'll typically use it more as an eyeshadow, but I went through a very big face palette craze, especially the Anastasia ones, and I just wanted to show more use out of it. And I definitely did get use out of it. I would often pop these out and use them independently for like a few days at a time. But this is a great palette if you have light skin tone like myself. But if you have a darker skin tone, I wouldn't recommend this. I had 2 different eyeshadows in my rotation. The first one was the Disney Villains Misunderstood palette, and I actually use this for my November Get Ready With Me. So if you want to see this in action, I will link that up above. But this is what the inside looks like. It's a ColourPop palette, and I think it's so fun because I had these really bright pops of color. But honestly, I use this a lot for neutral looks too. You have these 2 mattes here. You have this shimmer here and this shimmer and then a black. My friend and I went to Disney Trivia. We go to bar trivia on Tuesdays. And one of the questions was, what's the bird in Sleeping Beauty? And I was like, wait, I know this. And I was like, it's Diablo. And she's like, how do you know that? And I was like, I have an eyeshadow named after him. And Flotsam and Jetsam are eyeshadows too, and that's how I knew it. So this palette was especially handy at that trivia, even though we only came in 3rd place. But yeah, I thought it was like a fun little correlation. I was like, I have to include that in my recap. But the other palette that I put in when I wasn't using that one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette, which was their holiday release from last year. It's their cool tone palette, and this one was a little bit easier for everyday looks. So I typically throw the shade Teak in the crease, and then I use Dystopian in the outer corner. Noir is a really pigmented black, so for day-to-day looks, I kind of get intimidated. And then you have Birch, which is this warm tone brown, but these were the 4 shimmers that I mainly used. You had Fresh, which I used if I blended too much, it's basically a bone color, and I would just blend it out. But I used Pearl, I used Steampunk, I used Rose Quartz a lot, and then I would use Cinder. I like this palette. I kind of wish I was going to throw it into another rotation, but I really want to experiment with my products for December. This is really pretty if you're someone that's into cool tones or wanting to get into cool tones. I've talked about this a lot. The Anastasia Beverly Hills shimmer formula has gone from like here to here, and I think this palette exemplifies that. These shimmers are really pretty. They're like soft to the touch. Rose Quartz has to be my favorite one, but this is really easy to throw in every day, but I still have no idea what to do with the shade Bloom. And then to finish off this rotation, I had a whole bunch of lip products. I actually did have a liquid shadow. This one is from Essence. It's their Metal Shock shadow in the shade Running in Orbits, or I'm sorry, it's in the shade Second to Mars. I didn't use this once, so we're going to go right into the lip products. For the lip products, I had the Huda Beauty Power Matte Bullet Lipstick in the shade Interview. I used it once or twice, but honestly, I didn't use it that much. The way my bathroom is organized is I have my nude lipsticks, lip gloss, and concealers in like an acrylic organizer, and they're right in front of me. So I tend to reach for those. And this one just didn't fit there. So it's like in a drawer. So I was less inclined to reach for it. But I did use O for Pasadena. I definitely used Kylie Exposed and the Sephora lip cream. But I used the glosses most of all because I guess I'm just a gloss girl now. I had Fenty Beauty Diamond Milk, which if I could put this in every single rotation, I would, because this is my most used lip gloss of all time. And I just got it. It's perfect by itself. Like if you just want a little pick-me-up, if you want to throw it over a lip. I went to a concert the other day. I went to the Jonas Brothers concert and I wore like a nude liquid lipstick and I put this on top and I was feeling it. And then I had the Morphe lip gloss in the shade Freedom. I actually love this lip gloss formula. It's a really pretty like nudie gloss and it looks great by itself or over liquid lipsticks, and it's not super sticky. But those are all the products that I used in November. So if you want to see the products that I picked out for December, let's jump right into it. So I should probably preface by saying if there's any month out of the year that I'm going to get super glam, it's December. My friends and I do an annual Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving in the beginning of December. Then you have Christmas and then you have New Year's. And it's just when I tend to go the most bold of my makeup. So I gave myself a lot of options. So let's run through the products and we're going in no order. I'm including the ColourPop Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette. And when I picked this out, there was a tragedy. The shade right here, which is the shade Stardust, I believe. Yeah, shade Stardust, broke. So I managed to repress some of it, but very saddened by the loss. Love this palette. It's your neutral palette with a twist. I've taken this traveling before and it was perfect because you have these neutrals up here. You have a brown, you have like a perfect champagne color. And you still have these pops of colors if you're someone that's a little bit more adventurous with your makeup. I love this. I wouldn't be surprised if I hit pan on the shade Magical soon because I use it all the time. And these shimmers are really pretty, but I'm going to be a little bit wary about this color now. I didn't just pick that eyeshadow palette. I might have picked a few more. So I'm throwing in the Jackie Aina Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palette. This is probably my second favorite Anastasia palette of all time. I recommend it to a subscriber down below and I recommend it to all my friends. I love it. The color scheme lets you go from neutral to like bold and vivacious and like glam. I love it. I love these colors. Sponsored is one of my favorite shimmers. It's this green brown duochrome, but then you also have some staple mattes. Like you have the shade Credit and then you have Ginger and Edges and then Soleil, which is like my everyday look, but I love Lituation and the purple. Trying to get myself to use Wigglese. It definitely intimidates me on the lid, but we'll see if I can be a little bit more adventurous. I'm also throwing in a whole bunch of single shadows. So this is a ColourPop palette that I picked up during their BYOP palette sale, but I think I kind of intertwined some Makeup Geek and an Anastasia shadow. So instead of having you sit here and listen to me swatch and say out the names, I'm probably going to include a photo with the names of the shadows and the brands on it in case you're interested. But I love single shadows. I did a video a while back on my channel about my favorite single shadows. So if you're interested in that, I'll link it up above or down below. But this includes shadows from, they're mostly ColourPop. I have Pink Champagne from Anastasia, which is a standout shadow. I think I have one or two from Makeup Geek, but once again, I will probably insert a photo and have the overlay. And then the last palette that I have is from Natasha Denona. It's the Mini Gold palette. So this is one of the newest palettes in my collection, or was the newest palette. I just picked up a few more from ColourPop, but I love this. I also wore this to the Jonas Brothers concert, and I was with my friend, and I usually make them pick out my eye look. And let me tell you, she did magic. So I wore this shade in the middle, which is called Dor, with D''O''R. And then I put the Jackie Aina shade in Dollars over it. And I made this like really cool, like green gold shadow. Like it looked so cool. And this palette is just perfect. If you're someone that likes green and cool tone shadows, I definitely recommend this. I haven't had any issues with the formula so far. And I love these shimmers. Like this one, I'm going to wear this a lot. So now let's get into the rest of the products that aren't eyes. I do have a few, I guess I'll do this now. I did include glitters. So these are from the most recent Stylist set that I picked up at TJ Maxx. It's the All Fired Up set, which I actually recommended in my Sephora holiday gift guide. So you have 3 different shades. You have the shade Sunset Fire, Burnished Sienna, and Follow the Sun. So it's like a bronze, a like white gold. I don't even know what to call this one. I feel like this one's more of a bronze and this one's more of like a deep red. But once again, it's December. If I'm going to get glam, I might use glitter. So I'm giving myself these 3 because they're the newest. And I've been really into glitter cut creases lately. Now let's get into complexion products. So the primer that I'm throwing in are some of the newer ones that I hauled. So I have the Farsali Skin Tune Blur and the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. So I definitely want to test these out and get impressions on them. And I'm including the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Tinted Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer. Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer in the shade Fair 1N. I just used this for the first time today in this Get Ready With Me, but I'm excited to play around with this more for like every day. And then when I get glam, I'm going to go with the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation in the shade 415. This is one of my most long wearing and like better holding up foundations. So for like New Year's, like Christmas, Friendsgiving, this is what I'm going to wear when I want my beat to last all day. For concealer, I chose the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer in the shade Vanilla. I love this. It's a little bit full coverage for my preference. I tend to like a medium to light coverage concealer, but I love this. It is slightly yellow, but it's not yellow enough that it looks out of place. I chose 2 different bronzers. I chose the Butter Bronzer, which is in my Project Pan, which goal achieved. And then I also chose the Maybelline City Bronzer in this shade, I believe this is shade 100. I mostly picked out the Butter Bronzer because this one can be a little bit cool toned on me. So I went to the Butter Bronzer if I wanted to warm it up a little bit. But I definitely want to get more use out of this because I think I used this in a first impression and then I didn't use it again. For blush, I picked out the Too Faced Love Flush Blush in the shade Your Love Is King, which is the perfect like mauve color for the winter. That's what I needed. Those like those windswept cheeks are my favorite look. So this is going to be really pretty. I did do a video ranking on my blushes, and the Too Faced ones just tend to be one of their best products. I think Too Faced nails it when it comes to complexion products. I'm also including 2 different highlighters. The first one is the Urban Decay highlighter in the shade Sin, which is just a pretty champagne color, but it can be a tiny bit dark on me just depending on how I look that day or like how my skin looks. So I also include another highlighter, which is my Glam highlighter, and it is the Ofra highlighter in the shade Star Island. The Ofra highlighters are out of this world blingy. Just look at that. And let's be honest, I want to glow to the gods on New Year's. And the last things that I have are some lip products. And I finally learned my lesson because I only have 5 lip products this time. I included a red because it's the holiday season. So I have the Sephora Cream Lip Stain in the shade number 95. The Dose of Colors Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Stone. And the ColourPop Just a Tint Lip Crayon in the shade Gimme S'more. And then I included 2 of my NYX Butter Glosses because these haven't been used. And I used to love this formula. They still smell phenomenal, like a baked bakery. So this is in the shade Tiramisu, and this is the shade Madeline. I can probably finish up Madeline this rotation if I really put my mind to it. But those are all the products that I'm including in my Shop My Stash for this December. Let me know which products you're including, and I will come back and do a get ready with me. I might have to do 1 or 2 because I threw in 4 different eyeshadow palettes, but let me know which products you're picking up. If you like this video, I hope you consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. I post a new video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'd love if you come back and join me next time. But that's going to be all for today. Thanks for watching.